Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spiritual Journey podcast. My name is Nimesh Radia, and I'm your host. I always love starting every episode by saying thank you. I feel so blessed with this podcast, the impact it's having, the people it reaches. When I started, my objective was really to guide people on their journey to simplify spirituality, and I really had no idea where it was going to go. But I feel so blessed with the impact it's having, the people it reaches, the messages I get. People find it when they need it most. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're a regular listener, thank you. Thank you for your support. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. Let us know if you have any feedback. I am an Akashic record reader, Akashic trainer, podcast host, podcast creator, as well as spiritual coach and mentor. And what I get to do is I get to guide people on their journey, holding people's space. So many people are going through something, a shift, and I always say I never tell people what to do. I guide people to who they really are, releasing the programming, and really kind of guiding you to your core self. I love what I get to do, and I do that through a beautiful mentorship program that I channel through the Akashic Records, through the Akashic Record reading, through podcasts, so many other ways, and I love what I get to do. So if my voice resonates, reach out. Maybe I'm meant to guide you. Maybe we're meant to work together. Beautiful thing about this podcast is I get to interview some amazing guests. I'm excited to have Kayse on the podcast with me today. Kayse, I'd love for you to introduce yourself using your words.
Thank you so much for having me. And I've got to say, Nimesh, I love your voice. I love your voice. Your voice. I just want to lie down and listen to stories.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. My name is Kayse Gehret. I am the founder of Microdosing for Healing, and I have been in the healing arts now for 30 years this year. I started in bodywork and somatic practice, energy work for many years, and then moved into microdosing work, working with earth medicines, plant medicines over the last 5 years, and today support an international community around earth medicine practice for physical healing, mental health, emotional well-being, and spiritual development.
That just sounds so amazing. I was just talking to you before when we first met, and I don't know if I've ever had anybody talking about microdosing and the impact that has. And for me, anything that kind of comes from the earth, I feel like it has a big role to play to kind of hold our space and guide us as we're going through something transitional. And just yes, I'm curious. What are you finding in the world? How are things evolving? I talk a lot about the planet shifting from divine masculine to divine feminine. I feel like we're kind of shifting from a place of head to heart where, it's kind of the head was all about the ego, the individuals, putting people on the pedestal, and the heart is all about trusting whatever our heart says, but also about community and love, and less about the individual, more about the co-creation. So, but I'm curious, what are you seeing in your world?
Beautiful question. I work primarily with psilocybin mushrooms, and I find each different medicine has a different angle. I know they all are here to support us and they work differently. I particularly love mushrooms right now because they, of all the medicines I've experienced, are very deeply grounding and body oriented and somatically oriented and connecting us with the earth. And we're moving into this time, we've been, I think, anchored in this previous age. It's very heavy, it's very dense. But one of the positive things is there was a gravity behind us, right? Like we felt grounded, and we're moving into this time where it's much faster, it's lighter, it's brighter, the resonance is higher. So a lot of people are just kind of feeling like they're spinning right now. And mushrooms like bring us into this deep connection to the earth and give us this sense of kind of a background and a grounding that we can carry within ourselves when it's absent in the greater collective energy right now.
Wow, I love that answer. It's interesting. I don't know if I've ever talked about doing shrooms on this podcast, and I have a few times, and that's a trigger for anybody, then it is what it is, right? But for me, what I found is it's always been a beautiful experience, but it exaggerates what I'm going through.
Yes.
And it allows me to go through it at a deeper level and, and I've been with people who have maybe not had, well, who decides what's positive or negative, but I also found with them, it kind of exaggerates whatever they're going through, right? And it's just, so I feel like it should come with the health warning. It's not like it's all easy and grace. If you're going through something, then it may help you and guide you to feel it even deeper. And for me, that's good. But who decides good or bad, right? And I'm sure there's some products that are not as good, high quality as others, and all that sort of stuff. But I don't. For me, it's what's your intention when you want to go and have that sort of experience? What is your intention? What's your if you're always looking for answers, then I really find with the spiritual journey, it's not. We're always looking for answers, and what if there are no answers out there? What if right now the answer is to do nothing and just to be present? And what if shrooms allows you to, or whatever you use, meditation, whatever you want to do, allows you to build a stronger connection to your guides and the other realms? And why are we always looking for answers? What if some like I said, what if the answer is just to do nothing and just be? Which is why I feel the energy right now is because I feel like we're entering into a phase of completion. But the human wants all the answers because the human can feel something coming. And it's like, oh my God, give me. And it's like, all right, let me go for looking for the answers. Okay, if I can't find it. And what do? We always look for the answers outside ourselves. And so what's your experience and what's your journey been like with what you kind of, what's going you to here to, you said 30 years experience. So tell us more about your journey and kind of what it's meant for you.
Sure. So I have always been deeply sensitive. I was very intuitive as a kid, and I lost my father quite young. I was 7 years old, and I developed headaches after that loss. I recall spending a lot of time in the nurse's office when I was a kid in elementary school. And then later on, those developed into, I had a grand mal seizure disorder in my teenage years. And I therefore always shied away from drugs, let alone psychedelic drugs. And it was only coming into, after many years in healing arts, I came across the idea of microdosing, which is taking teeny tiny doses of mushrooms. So you're not tripping, you're not going anywhere. And I didn't really know what would happen, but I felt confident I was going to stay in my body, stay in the earth plane, and my seizure stopped.
Wow.
Along with my intuition went to a new level, my creativity opened, my connection to nature, to animals was profound. And so as I developed a deeper trust in the medicine, I got curious and started working with mushrooms at a deeper level. And that's when my connection to my guide and my connection to spirit enhanced beyond what I even knew was possible in this lifetime. And I was smiling when you were sharing that people might judge, because it's interesting, of course we all encounter that being in this work. Everybody's in a different reality on the earth right now, as we know. But I've worked with a lot of deeply spiritual people that sometimes have taken me by surprise that they're averse to working with earth medicines. And I always find it interesting because these are people who are psychic or clairvoyant and very connected to their guides, and they can see and talk to dead people. What is causing you this aversion to shrooms? And a lot of times when I talk to them, there's a layer of how much farther can I go beyond what the sensitivity I'm already experiencing. I just had a client a few days ago who was one of these people. She's a very, very gifted psychic, and she did her first journey recently. And she was like, oh my goodness.
Love it.
It was, oh my goodness. Because I think sometimes once you get to a place in your spirituality where you are so oriented in service, right? You're used to using your gifts to orient to see another and hold space for another. You forget that the medicine and spirit is also here to deeply support us and to hold us. And that was her experience. And that I have found with people who have spent many years dedicated contemplative practice or being of service in the healing arts, their experience of the medicine is being deeply held the way they hold other people.
And I guess what I'd always say to people is there's no right or wrong. Whatever you feel is right is your truth. If you feel that something resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, there's no judgment on my side. And the way that I look at things is I'm just curious. I'm a student of life. So, I'm just like, as far as I'm concerned, I know nothing, right? And every day is a learning experience. It means that I'm not a master of anything. And it opens me up to a deeper level of learning. And I was just curious. I'm always, and my logic at the time was, as you call it, anything earth, any earth medicine, anything related to the earth can only be positive, right? And like I said, if you listen to this and you think, well, it doesn't really resonate, that's okay. But what if you were to try something different? Who knows, right? But it's always your intention. Like I said, if you try something, a lot of people keep trying different things, different modalities. I want to learn this, I want to learn this, I want to learn this, I want to learn this. And it's like, keep learning modalities if you want, of course, but what's your intention? So my intention when I first tried shrooms was I was just curious. I heard it allows me to go deeper in the journey. I was in a meditative space. I made sure that I was close to nature and just could go deeper, and I was just curious, and that's what I went into it with. So I guess whatever you feel is perfect for you.
Mm-hmm. And that's a beautiful intention to have. I think a lot of people are like, I don't really have a specific intention. I just ask the medicine to teach me and show me. And that's one of the most beautiful, to just be in a state of receptivity and learning. And I think the reason why we're having this resurgence of awareness around earth medicines and plant medicines is because we're reawakening to a time that a lot of us have codes within us, that in a spiritual lineage that is reawakening it within us, through us. And plant medicine and earth medicines have been here that long. They have been through multiple extinction events. We come from them. They have been part of our life for millennia. And so they help us reawaken to our potential that we're just starting to slide into.
Yeah,
It's
I
exciting.
love it. Because if we are shifting, into a different paradigm, which everybody talks about, right? Whether you call it ascension, third dimension, fifth dimension, shifting to divine masculinity, whatever words you want to pick, I think consistently everyone's talking about a shift. It's just, humanly, we need to give words to it. But it is interesting about is our journey with plant medicines and how that's going to evolve. It kind of really makes me curious because the thing I've found, just you talk about ancestors, is with a lot of people I've opened Akashic records for recently, deeper ancestors have shown up. Ancestors that, feel like they come almost from the beginning of time. And it's like, just so much wisdom that's coming through right now. And it's just, which is why, I say I know nothing, because I want to receive new information. I feel like, if this planet's going to go through a shift, it's not going to come from knowledge we already have. It's not going to come from the head, right? It's going to come from a new, and when we open ourselves to a deeper level of learning from a different place, maybe that opens us up to a different. So what would your advice be to somebody who's unsure and thinking maybe I'm curious. And by the way, I'm not going to get into legal side, different countries and all that sort of stuff. I'm not obviously suggesting we do anything that
Megan asked me about that.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But what would your advice be if somebody who's curious? Maybe they haven't tried something. Maybe they've had a bad experience, or What would you
Mhm.
advise them?
Yeah, I mean, that was me, and that's a lot of the people I work with are very hesitant, tentative. We've, at least in the US, the Gen X generation, we grew up steeped in that era of conditioning. And so I work with a lot of people who aren't quite ready for various reasons to go to a full journey and ceremonial experience. And so microdosing is perfect for them. It's you stay in your earth body, you're in control all the time, and you're in complete control. You can start out very gently. You're not feeling any tripping or you're not feeling altered. And then typically within the first few days, people feel better. They feel better in every way. They're like, okay, not am I only not outside of myself, I'm actually way more in my body than I have been in a long time. And so you just kind of build confidence quickly. We started our community really so people around the world would have a place to touch in a really easeful, accessible way where you could see other human beings with a lot of experience in the practice, so you weren't kind of going down the rabbit hole online, which
Yeah.
we all do. It's easy to do, but it's quite different, like meeting real people with real experience and just listening to their experience. So that's really the best way to get started. I've also found that, like, when it's time for you to work with the medicines, particularly with mushrooms, they call you.
It's true.
And they keep calling you in a way that if you don't get it, they'll just kind of keep whispering to you, and they'll just kind of drop the conversation or the person in your path that will orient you toward them. I see it all day long.
I love it. I love it. It's like this podcast. People find it when they need it most, right? So I'm sure people find you when they and maybe if you listen to this podcast, maybe it's a sign for you. Who knows? I would always say, you know what? If something, again, what's your intention? But maybe just put your hand in your heart and say, okay, is microdosing something I want to try? Is it something? Is shrooms something I want to try? And trust your intuition. So I kind of feel like we've jumped into the conversation without. I know you talked a little about microdosing a little bit, but can you kind of describe the different things and maybe the things that are open to people in terms of, because I know you said microdosing would be a great place to start, but I feel like just kind of maybe describing the different options might help. I didn't want to assume that everyone knows about everything, right? So let's if we could just.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's interesting right now because microdosing wasn't really a word until a few years ago. And then we would just talk about it with psychedelics, but now it's being used for all these other things. And pharmaceuticals. So people are like, well, what exactly are you microdosing? So in my framing, we're talking about psychedelics. Typically, I work with plant medicines and earth medicines, but also LSD sometimes. So microdosing is really taking a psychedelic medicine or entheogenic medicine, and which means the divine within, kind of revealing the divine within. And each medicine has a different effect and gifts and benefits. Each soul interacts differently with the medicine. And so a big part of it is working with a guide with experience to share what your intention is. What are you working on? Your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual development, who can help you choose which medicine and develop a protocol to start for each one. As you shared, like, legality is all over the place right now. And so a lot of it is, choosing to hold your healing and your spirituality with sovereignty. And so there's religious protections in the US and different parts of the US that you can work with medicines, and you are taking some risk. But in my experience, like, I'm at the point I cannot imagine my life without what I've received from the medicines. It's inconceivable to me.
Yeah,
So I honor it so much, and the work so much, that it's such a huge part of my life. It's like what the Muggle world is doing with their laws becomes quite secondary.
yeah. I mean, again, from a human perspective, and as you call it, it's like when we don't understand something, we like to put it in a box, and it's that, and it's like alcohol. It does impact and a change. It does create a change in you, but it's just, I mean, the way you described it, kind of working with a practitioner, whatever you want to call the title, at least that somebody to guide you and hold your space. It's just, yeah, it's just, and again, like I said, there may be some people listening and just, well, no, we would never do that, and that's okay. But it's like, it's interesting when you talk about your story, kind of, you were guided to it because of your human experience, right? You were going through
very
something.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
very much. Hmm.
and it's like you said, sometimes when we're going through something painful, the universe guides us to a solution that maybe we didn't expect.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and in my experience was like that. I remember I was told by spirit to go to a very specific place in the world, and it was direct. And after that, I made the commitment to go there, and everything in life conspired for me not to go. I had 100 reasons to cancel the trip, and would have if the voice was not so clear and strong. And it was on that trip that I met the person who introduced me
Wow.
to the concept of microdosing, and my life was forever different after that. So that's how it can happen. Yeah.
And that's, look, you said everything was conspiring against you. That's sometimes the human kind of putting blocks in. Sometimes it's how much do you really want it? How much are you listening to the nudge? And you know it's just an interesting journey, right? And one of the conversations we had when we first connected was around the medical journey, and maybe um how this will evolve to maybe even be a deeper part of the medical journey. I'm just curious what your thoughts about combining these type of medicines and these type of things, these type with the traditional, or maybe health issues, or what's the connection for you in terms of the whole medical piece of this journey?
Mm, yeah. Well, it's funny. I grew up wanting to be a doctor for many, many years, and I studied pre med in college. And then again, I had a voice say, "You are to go to the West Coast now." And gratefully, I listened, and it was on the West Coast I discovered quote unquote alternative healing and went down in a very different path. And now I see today it's kind of come full circle. And I was just meant to receive spirits training for my work versus a medical training of this work. And what I have come to understand about all of our symptoms is most of our symptoms are just the ultimate manifestation of energy, incoherent energy, trauma, patterning, sometimes in our lineage, sometimes earlier in life. But that's really the start of it. And so when I'm working with somebody who has, say, a symptom or a physical health condition, I start with the soul instead of the symptom. Like, let's go
Nice.
back and see, where did this symptom, whatever it is, originally start? And what was going on in your life at that time? And very frequently people go, wow, okay. I've never been asked that before.
Yeah,
We didn't start there. And so we kind of, in our Western framing, we kind of grab the snake by the tail,
yeah,
right? And we think the tail is the source, when really the tail is just there to follow
yeah.
to the heart. And
It's like,
so, yeah.
wow. And it's so interesting because you do that. That's exactly what I do. It's like, when was the first time you experienced it? Because like we judge ourselves, right? We just like, can't believe I kept doing this repeat cycle. I don't actually believe in repeat cycles. I believe that we experience things at a deeper level. And each time we kind of release a cycle, there's a deeper level of learning to come through. But it's so powerful to go to the source, right? And I'm glad you said the soul, because sometimes the source isn't this lifetime. It's just,
Frequently.
it's
Frequently.
interesting.
Yeah, especially when it's more stubborn things chronic things that people experience. Like a lot of times, I'll admit, especially still right now in this modern moment, a lot of times people have done everything except psychedelics. They kind of come to me and go, I can't believe I'm really doing this, but I've tried everything and I've heard this could help. I heard this podcast or I read this book. And so they come having done everything else. And so in those cases, very frequently, it is unsolvable by our Western frameworks because it's not their trauma. It was actually an ancestor's trauma that needs
Wow.
clearing. So, yeah, I'm sure you see the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I've
Isn't
tried
it
everything
interesting?
else.
Yeah, you can go down a different path and Akashic records, and then what if you're meant to try all of it, right? What if there's a combination of? But it's really interesting. I feel like people are led down a path, and sometimes it's you know psychedelics, kind of plant medicine, that type of thing. Sometimes it's Akashic records. It's just who knows what your path is, right? I love the when you just open to magic, magic happens.
Mm-hmm. I think part of our work here, like us doing these modalities, is helping people translate what that magic looks like, because it's been so not part of our modern culture for so long that sometimes when people are having these gifts arrive and reawakening to them, they don't know that's what's actually happening. They're like, what is this strange thing? Do I numb it? Do I medicate it? And it's symptom when
Yeah,
actually it's your spiritual gifts opening again.
I love it because we want to fix everything, right? Something's happening. Oh, I must need to fix it because it must be something. And what if it's something magical? It's just. So I'd love to dive deeper into the spiritual aspect because you mentioned connecting with your guide, and I've always felt multiple guides around me, but it's just. I'd love for you to talk about what is connecting to spirit, to your guide, what it's like, um, just naturally, and then what it's like, kind of maybe connecting via microdosing, shrooms. How does your experience change with connecting to the energies and vibrations around you?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I don't always get to share this experience. So in hindsight, now I can see. I mean, it's so sweet. Where I see there's so many symbols scattered throughout my childhood that my guide has always been with me. It's so obvious now in hindsight, but it started out with symbols everywhere that I was not conscious of as a child. And then as I grew, and especially when I began studying intuition medicine and hypnotherapy and doing a lot of energy work and body work, I think a lot of spiritual development is clearing our density out of our physical body, especially fear is enormous, and grief tropes too. And it's really kind of lightening ourselves to be able to hear spirit and feel and sense our guides. So over time, I felt certain times in life she would come through, like move across the country. Okay, now move back across the country, things like that. Um, Very directive when it was very, very important and I was at crossroads, but it definitely wasn't a daily experience. However, when I started practicing microdosing, I started to open more. Definitely, it was very obvious within the first few weeks of to animals, nature, particularly birds. A lot of people have that experience. Like they have these amazing encounters with birds. Um, and then when I when I did my first journey ever with mushrooms, she met me. Kind of, you cross over when you're working with mushrooms and psychedelics, you have this state where you're kind of crossing over into a different realm. And she was there to meet me, and she's been there. And every journey I've been, she's there to meet me
Nice,
in a different form. But in my first journey, she was kind of in her full, she was totally decked out
nice.
in full regalia. And I just remember feeling like so in awe and wonder. And I kind of just in the journey, in the dream state, I just kind of dropped to my knees and I was like, oh, okay, it's you. There you are. And she was there with all of her symbols and her staff, and there was the cattle all around her, and she had a falcon on one arm. And I remember the sun was just, she almost had like molten streaming golden hair with this just glowing sun behind her. And when I finally could like lift my head up to say something, I said, and it was hilarious because I could hear myself say it out loud. I said, "Are you the daughter of the sun?" And she smiled and said, "He would like to think that."
Oh, nice. They have a
And
sense of humor too. Actually, they do have a sense of humor. It's nice.
and that's when I was like, okay, now I really know you, because yes, I know that humor. And yeah, she's very, very funny and very direct. And so ever after that, like after making that connection, slowly over time, it's gotten to the point where she just kind of comes through when she wants to. She very frequently comes through when I'm working with other people. If she has something she wants to teach me and show me how to guide them, or to explain why something is happening, or if there's something very specific someone needs that would support and kind of turn the key in their journey, she'll come through. And then a big shift happened to when I moved to Florida. So a couple years ago, it was that my time in California was complete, and I was like, okay, great, now where? And so I was just kind of guided here in this very specific part of Florida, and I've come to trust her. And once I arrived here and got to be in this energy after a few weeks, my connection really expanded even more. So, long story.
Yeah,
Let's to
no,
it.
that's beautiful. I love it. I could hear that all day. So, tell us a bit more about. So, you were guided to move. What did that feel like? How did that? What was that journey like? Because I feel
I
like a lot
think
of people are being guided to move. So, I'm curious to dive deeper into that.
100%. Yeah. In service to others that are feeling that, it's almost like my experience was just, it was so clear, and that I've learned to just follow that and listen to it, and trust that it will make sense later. And it always has.
And it's a
It
leap of
always
faith,
has. But and we're so, as you shared earlier, like as humans, we're so set on certainty and familiarity. Like we're so willing to stay in a situation, right? At all costs sometimes.
The safety of it, right?
But it's kind of like the more you listen to your intuition, it's like building that muscle. And
It is.
also,
It's exactly that. It's building a muscle. Go on, you're going to say, and also,
just as you trust more, like the connection gets stronger and stronger. So I find that where I used to be a little more, my mind used to wrestle my intuition a little bit. My mind is like got to the point where it's completely on board. It's more like, oh, I wonder what adventure this is going to be.
Yeah. And it's just, that's the thing, adventure. Who decides what's good or bad? What if it just is? It's just so. And it's so interesting when you talk about the journey of. I feel like sometimes it's our expectations, because it's like I compare your story about kind of shrooms microdosing to sometimes when I teach somebody Akashic records, it's this expectation that, oh my god, all of a sudden it's going to open up, and it's like, and sometimes it happens that way, but it's our expectation. It's like it's like hearing your story about seeing your guide. I know a lot of people get frustrated because, oh my god, I can't see, I can't see, I can't see. But you feel, right? Start with feeling. And then if you're meant to see, you'll see. It's just that comparison and expectation. So I guess I'd preface that with, if anybody wants to try microdosing shrooms, and you be open to magic, maybe magic happens. If you expect to have the same experiences Kayse just described, maybe it won't happen for you the same way. Just, who knows? Like when I talk about Akashic Records and my journey through the records, that's my journey, right? So somebody else's journey could be the same, could be different. Mine, I feel, was really magical, but could be even more magical. Who decides that? It's just, if you're just open to, and I know it's easy for me to say because the mind's like, wait, but I want the same as what she has. I want to see the menu. I want to be able to order the same thing. And it's just like, I'm done. It doesn't work that way. It just, you're having your own unique experience. And what if that's perfect for you?
Yes. And Spirit's always looking out for us and our own divine timing, our own aligned timing. Like I have a very, very cautious soul, for better or for worse. And people might not know that right up front, based on my life experience and choices, but I do. And so my experience working with the medicine and Spirit was a lot of my guides going, "Are you ready?" And go, "Give me a minute." Okay. Give me a minute. Okay. And so it's not like I just started working and everything just opened. It was honestly a lifetime of
And this is
going
just you
forward.
giving a snapshot, right?
Yeah, right. And a lot of it too, people often go, "I want that. Like, how do I get to that?" And a lot of it is, more of it often is undoing and releasing and releasing conditioning and releasing grief, releasing fear. That's what allows you to get there eventually. Like a lot of people are really surprised when they work with mushrooms how much they can cry. Like they're like, I've been to therapy, I have grieved in my life. I didn't know that it's like a well. It's almost endless. And it's like you are purging and releasing lifetimes often of tears and grief. And it's not it's a grief that you can feel is old. And it almost feels like a catharsis on the other side. And every time people have that experience, whether in microdosing or with journey work, and move through these grief portals, it's so hard. It's so hard because we have compassion and tenderness when people are in that raw state of grief. But at the same time, I know what lies on the other side of that. That's once they move through that, it's coming and it's ahead. It's really beautiful.
And ultimately, there's divine timing to it. So we're not here to stop people's pain, right? So that grief that you're releasing and you're going through, and being present in it instead of focusing on what's happening on the side, is like what your soul chose to experience. And in the work that I do, it's like I see so much emotion, and it's like I don't jump in. It's not my job to jump in. My job is to hold space, and not easy, by the way, because you feel everyone's emotion, right? But it's just we're here having the human experience, so let's have the experience. But I love the phrase that's pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Like when we feel like we need to move somewhere, then if we choose not to move, then that's where the suffering comes. Because you've been through the pain, you've been through whatever you need to, and it's just, and even if it's like when people come to you and they've tried everything, I'm sure there's sometimes they go, "Oh, I wish I found this 10 years ago," or whatever that thought is. But if you hadn't been through everything you've been through the previous 10 years, you wouldn't be here. So it's just like, just the mind playing tricks. And by the way, just to kind of go back, I feel the human's safe, the soul isn't, as in, I feel the soul is just my feeling of your soul, open to lots of adventures. Just saying. Just, give you a heads up as to what I'm feeling, maybe coming for you.
May it be so. I'm ready for it.
I just love it.
No, I love that you shared that, because I've worked with a lot of people. The oldest person I worked with is 93.
Oh, wow.
And I've worked with a lot of people in their 70s and 80s. And they have this expansion happening and this magic and this beauty, and they're like, darn it. Darn it. I wish I had experienced this earlier in this lifetime. And that's the thing. It's like, there is no, in the eyes of spirit, there is no beginning, there's no end. And it's like, yeah, you might be 83 now, but you're going to be a baby in a minute, in another body. And you get to carry everything we learn and everything we experience and grow in this lifetime. We carry that forward into the next. So you're never really too late or too early. You're always perfectly on time.
And it's interesting. I don't feel that our soul's journey is linear. So who's to say we're not experiencing multiple lives all at the same time? And who's to say you can't experience something in 93 that in a parallel life you can use straight away? Who knows, right? You know,
no wonder we're all so tired.
Well, yeah, who knows? I mean, that's, astral travel. There's a whole different episode there, I'm sure. So I'd love for you to share what it's like working with you one-to-one. What's that experience? What can people can expect? I'm guessing, I know you said global.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that like? Kind of reaching out to you, working with you one-to-one.
Mm-hmm. So I work one-to-one only with a handful of people at any given time. And then I do a lot of group work in our community. Sure. And they're both so beautiful. They're all quite different experiences, but the beauty of the group and the community is it's an unbelievable, powerful thing to do things in community. Yeah. And even though we each have our own soul's path and intention, being together in that experience is beautiful. It's kind of like the difference between, listening to music at home and being live in a concert with thousands of people. It's a really beautiful experience, and everybody's kind of just ignited in a way. So people see things differently and reflect things. A lot of people come to the call and go, I don't really know much is going on. And then you hear somebody else share and go, oh, yeah, actually, I did see a wolf last week. Right? Things like that. So, yeah, the group experience is really, really something I really hope for everybody to experience in some fashion or form in their life. With the practice that they're drawn to. With one-to-one work, it's interesting. The people I work with now are I would never have expected to be working with them. But my guide has shared with me, I am meant to guide very, very, very many people. And I always was like, what do you mean? Like, that's not me. That's not me. But what I've learned very recently was I am not meant to guide a lot of people. I am meant to guide people who guide a lot of people, if that makes sense. So 100%. The people I'm working with now, they have influence over millions of people in their care, of service, of leading sometimes. And so it's Spirit's way of, that's the unique medicine, is being able to see those people, support those people who will then in turn carry it forth to millions of people. Wow. So it's helping them in the one-on-one experience. It's helping them see their unique soul path and guiding. To me, a lot of times people are like, well, how is guiding different than like therapy or coaching experience? Like guiding, I think, is being able to recognize someone's soul, where they are in their evolution, and to see where their soul potential lies ultimately in this lifetime, and then help them orient their lives in that. But ultimately, it's them choosing that alignment over and over and over again.
Yeah, I love how the different modalities, but actually it sounds really similar to what I do in terms of I'm there to hold people's space. I'm not, on the soul journey of kind of, because you're here to have the human experience. I'm not, who am I to tell you what to do, right? I'm just here to hold you and maybe ask some open questions to guide you to you. And I just love the synchronicity and the kind of the different modalities you can use. And whoever's assigned to you is assigned to you. There's no, so, and I love I can really, again, resonate with kind of what you said about guiding, and it's just in the one-to-one, is because I love the one-to-one work, and I know there's only a certain amount of bandwidth I have, but I also know that there's a ripple effect. I know I mentor mentors, and I know that I'm going to touch many lives with the people I mentor, because then they're going to affect loads of other lives, and it's just, so that resonates with me so much, because I've always kind of wondered, how am I meant to affect millions, billions? It's like, I know the podcast and all these, but there's a limit to that too. But with the ripple effect, you can affect millions, billions, right?
Absolutely. And without words.
Oh yeah,
Just
it's
with
your
your
energy, your
energy.
vibration.
Hmm.
Yeah, and apparently my voice is healing. You were saying
Yeah.
earlier. So and the group work, is that always in person?
No, all online.
Yeah, that's all
Interestingly,
I wanted to do.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it's funny, I had never really I had worked in our studios, I had healing art studios, and it was all in person work. And so it was very, during the pandemic when we were kind of all forced in our little Zoom
yeah.
rooms, it was very awkward and unfamiliar to me at first. And I was like, how am I going to have the energetic connection with people that I had in person? And it's totally possible. In some ways, when you're very energetically sensitive, I work with a lot of other guides. I work with a lot of human design projectors, and a lot of them say they actually feel like they're more able to guide and read energy online, which is so interesting,
Yeah.
because there's less interference when we're here. We just get to be in our own energy,
Yeah.
and it's more potent and clear because we don't have a lot of competing other frequencies around us.
And it's all energy, right? It's all energy wherever you are. It's just, but it's interesting. I mean, I do most of my stuff online too, and maybe it's the human in me, but I feel like I want to do more retreats and in-person stuff. Um, but I'm still impacting a lot of people. It's just the human journey is so interesting. It's just wherever you're led to do, right? So I'll include all your everything, of course, your contact information, the show notes, and all that sort of stuff. But what's coming up for you then? What's coming up for you personally? Um, and then I'll ask you after that, what do you feel is coming up for the planet? But what's coming up for you personally? What do you feel your journey is going to take you? What's next for you? And if you're feeling anything.
Thanks for asking. It's been very unique at the time we're recording the past few weeks. I'm in a state of deep receptivity right now. I almost feel I would love to hear if you're experiencing this. I've been waking up every night between 3 and 4, and I am so lit up. And I don't know, it just feels like there's so much light pouring onto the planet right now. And it almost feels like I'm being tinkered with
Yeah.
on a
So,
cellular basis. And it's one of those where like I don't know where this is going, but it's feels very preparatory and beautifully supportive, even though I mentally can't conceive what I'm experiencing. That's kind of what I've been experiencing now. And so part of that is a lot of the other people that I might support that might be experiencing this and going, oh, I'm waking up, I need to take a sleeping pill, or oh, I'm experiencing this. It's like, well, no, we're evolving as a species,
yeah,
is what's actually going on.
100%.
And so, how do we support this healing and this opening versus like rushing to make it a problem like we so often do?
I love that. And, I relate so much. I talk a lot about, I feel like we're coming into the space of completion and rebirth. So it's like when you say you're waking up at 3, it's like, to me, I can relate so much, but it's like a combination of integrating and complete this phase, but also new beginnings. And I feel like we're receiving more support on this planet than ever before. And, you know, I, the reason I feel like everybody's feeling tired and energetically drained and all that is because we are going through a shift. And I feel like it's divinely timed and the whole planet is going through it together. And it feels different for everybody because we are different. Some people, as you say, are going to wake up at 3 and get so annoyed and decide to take some sleeping tablet and just, kind of some people are going to wake up at 3 and be excited. It's like, oh, okay, bring this on. It's just, there's no right or wrong. It's just, I can resonate and relate so much. For me, this is a phase of just being. Don't try and do any. If you get the nudge to take some major actions, do it. But don't go searching for answers. Just be. There's a divine timing to the answers coming through, and being gentle with yourself, and just what. Sometimes the answer you're looking for is to do nothing, and to trust. There's a divine timing to it, right? So as we close out this episode, I'm wondering if you've got any final bits of advice for anybody that's kind of going through something, going through a journey, anything you feel that's coming through that you want to share?
Sure. I think right now a lot of people are metabolizing a lot and very quickly, and it's very uncomfortable. And part of that is we're healing more rapidly now. Like the frequency we're moving into, things can happen very quickly. And we're so used to mentally willing things and working hard for things and intending things. And when people move into this new frequency, it's more spirit led and heart led, which is so fast comparatively to kind of our old way of thinking. And so we're processing a lot of that slower, older energy out. And so I always remind people, especially when you're working with mushrooms, this is the case, like you are feeling it because it's on the way out. It's a lot of what we're feeling has been submerged and suppressed. We haven't been able to access the feeling of the thing. And the fact that we're finally able to feel it's because we're metabolizing it now. And it's as uncomfortable as it is because we can heal at a faster rate than we have ever had access to before. So
I love it. I love it. It resonates so much because I feel like the reason that we're feeling so heavy is we're closing cycles so much quicker. It's like we were going through things in days that would have taken us months before. And, maybe we're going through stuff in weeks, months that would have taken us lifetimes before, right? Which is why it was like, whereas before we needed weeks to integrate, we've been through something. All right, I need to integrate. You spend weeks. I don't think we have that luxury anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the common things that I hear a lot with microdosing practice is it's so subtle for some people. And they're like, I don't know, my memory's better. I'm a little bit more articulate and focused, but I'm not really feeling any magic. and then a few weeks goes by and life happens. Like something happens that would normally create a very strong reaction. And people have the experience, they're like, wow, my ability to metabolize that emotionally, I've never been able to do that before. It just like usually that upset would have like held in my body. I would have felt the tension. I would have been mentally ruminating on it for days. I would have had that experience like cling to me. And I find it was when I was able to feel it fully, but I released it fully. And I've never been able to do that before. And so I think that is what we're capable of, and that's the future we're moving into. And sometimes working with earth medicines kind of gives us greater access to the future us than we might ordinarily be able to experience now.
I love it. And the way I describe what you just said is I feel like the work I get to do is I raise people's vibration. I'm not here to stop the human experience, but when you go through something, you raise your vibration. When you go through it, the dip isn't as low, right? It's like because you've raised your vibration, so it means that the impact isn't as intense. You're still going to go through the experience. We're not here to stop that experience, but what if you raising your vibration allows you to the impact of it to reduce and you to process it quicker? So different words, but I can resonate with so much with what you say. Kayse, thank you for being here. Thank you for your wisdom, your light. If you listen to this and you resonate with Kayse's words or energy or vibration, then reach out. Like I said, I'll include her details in the show notes. Beautiful light. I'm excited to see what this shift and this journey is going to bring you. But sending so much love and light out, and thank you. I'm going to hand over to you to close us out in whatever words are in your heart.
Thank you. Just so grateful. So grateful to be here. And yeah, one of the things that's coming through for me today is I have this sense of this coming year, as you shared, it's a year of completion. We're going into a 1 year, and it's almost like buckling up. Buckling up and kind of framing it. I've been framing it as like, how good can this get? Is kind of my perspective on this year. There's so much newness, be able to see things in so many new ways and feel things in such a new depth and range that we've ever felt before, that I think, with so much transition and change and chaos around us, that can be really harrowing, but it can be equally exhilarating. And I'm really looking forward to like helping people orient to like, how good can it really get, and be grateful and give me some more. Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate so much. It's like I'll ask the human to just trust and the spirit and the soul to just ride the wave. And yeah, what if whatever's coming next can be magical? Who knows? Thank you, thank you, thank you. So grateful for you, sending so much love and light, and sending so much love and light out to the planet. There is so much going on. Be gentle, be kind, and bye for now.